Hey guys, my name's Justin. Have you ever been at home or at school or at work and you wanted to listen to some dope sounds? Well, our channel has the thing for you. Come check it out. So guys, all you have to do is go to our channel and look up Family, Wealth, and Legacy Show, Lo-Fi Success, and Wealth Music for Work Productive. Hope you enjoy.
What is up, and welcome to another episode of the Family, Wealth, and Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Dario, Philippe. Over here, I've got my lovely wife. Introduce yourself, young lady.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bernadine, Philippe, the co-host and your estate planning attorney.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, welcome to the Family, Wealth, and Legacy Podcast.
We're back.
We are back, and we are so grateful and thankful for all of you who have been watching our previous episodes.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some positive feedbacks about it, so we're just so grateful and thankful for it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, because when we started this, we didn't know exactly how it was going to end up. We didn't know if anybody was really going to, buy into it and see that it had any value. But listen, since the first episode, what was the first episode called again? Broke,
married.
Yeah. So we put that first episode out because we make these titles on the fly, by the way.
Yeah.
But when we put the first episode out, like, we were not expecting this type of reception. So, from our hearts, thank you so much for the support. We really need the support. It is very competitive out here because everybody has a podcast.
Yeah.
Everyone has a podcast, and that's dope because I do believe that there should be different conversations. You know what I mean? Like, what we have to say isn't more important than what somebody else has to say, but at the same time, the competition is heavy. So for all of you who have, who are sticking with us, who are supporting us, thank you for the shares. Thank you for the shout outs when we go out, because we're local as well, South Florida. When we go places, people really show love. So Thank you for that. So how do you feel about the show so far? Like, how do you feel so far?
I feel great about the show. As stated before, like, when the first episodes came out, like, I was a little bit nervous and shy with the first couple of episodes. So, like, I'm working on that, trying to be open up more and speak more.
She saw herself on camera the first episode. She was like, "Oh, that's how I look."
I was like, "Yeah."
I think she looked fine.
I was mortified.
You know what I mean? But like, it's the first time on camera, so it can get a little nerve wracking. Like, I've been in front of the camera for a little bit, so I'm kind of used to it. But in the beginning, I was the same. I was scared. But thank you. Here we are. Now, today's topic.
Yeah. It's gonna
ruffle some feathers.
Yes, I was just about to say that. It's gonna ruffle some feathers.
So the title, I'm gonna give the title right now before we go into it. It is called The Wedding Trap. She didn't want me to name it that.
Yeah, he's calling it the wedding trap.
It's a trap.
But just think of it. The title is The Wedding Trap.
Trap.
We didn't say the marriage trap.
Right. It's not the marriage trap.
So think about it. We're saying the wedding trap, which is the wedding, the one-day event or the festivities, not the marriage trap. Marriage is a beautiful thing. Wedding is a beautiful thing.
Beautiful thing. And we're going to do the best we can. We're going to try to follow our little script because we have a few topics. We're going to go in order. So when we get so when someone thinks about marriage, right? Once again, this is not an anti-marriage episode. We're not gonna step on no toes, but if it stepped on your toes, it is what it is.
You mean it's not an anti-wedding?
It's not not an anti-marriage. So we're
for wedding trap.
Right. So so I'm going against the wedding. That's my position. But before we get there, let's talk about the first controversial thing when it comes to a marriage. Prenup. Should we or shouldn't we, Bernadine? Should we do prenups or not?
Prenup. Oh, my goodness. So when you talk about prenup, and I know just some misconception about prenups, like, I even had some misconception about prenups.
I did too.
When we were first about to get married,
right.
and somebody, because I was in law school at the time, and someone asked me, like, are you going to get a prenup? And I was like, what, a prenup? I was like, no. Like, I love my husband. Like, why am I going to get a prenup? Right.
It sounds so offensive, don't it? It sounds terrible, but...
But come to think of it, like, a prenup is not a bad thing. It's just a contract between two couples before you get married. Like, it just lists all your assets, all your debts, all the information, that you have that you had prior to getting married, and if the marriage was to dissolve, what do you want to do with those assets? So that's just pretty much what it is. So like some people would look down upon prenup. And some people, they'll look at it like an insurance, just like you have insurance over expensive assets or, certain parts of your assets. It's like insurance over your marriage. Like you're protecting your wealth. Like that's how I see the prenup. So, for us, no, we do not have a prenup.
Why?
I'll start off with saying
why?
that.
Why?
And the reason why we don't have a prenup, like we got married. Like,
broke. We had nothing.
Yes, okay, you just put it out there. Yeah.
We had nothing. And then like this is where the prenup conversation kind of gets a little funny because we have this idea that you got to be a multi-millionaire to have a prenup, and that's not true. See, with us, I mean,
I think so number one, we didn't really know anything about it.
We didn't know anything about it.
Right.
We didn't know anything
Although
about
I was in law school and I had family law and we heard about it, but I was just like, okay.
It didn't apply.
It really didn't apply to us. We both didn't have anything, like
right.
Truly. Like I didn't have a house, like the bank accounts wasn't fat. Like we both had debts, like just
Literally.
Put it that way. Like we both got.
In school at the time. We both were in school.
We got married like what, 26, 27? 27?
20, mid-20s. Mid-20s.
Yeah, mid-20s.
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 Just starting up in life, literally, just starting things up.
So we didn't build up, separately, like individually, our wealth and our assets. So we got married, we didn't have no prenup. So one person would say, hey, but you have the benefit of, what if future money that you're making? Like for me, although we didn't have a prenup, in the future money that I would be making, I mean, we're working together to build it. So I mean, it would be part of his as well too. Like if we're working together, he's helping me build, I'm helping him build, like we're building together. So I didn't see the necessary for to have the prenup. However, now these days, like a lot of people that are in their mid-20s or are in their 30s or 40s, whatever age that you are, and you're not married or you're on your second marriage, you've built up asset. Like if you've built up assets, you have a home, like you're making really, really good money. I think it should be a conversation worth having about having that prenup, because it's you protecting that asset, especially with someone who has a child, and you're about to get married. Like, what about that child? You want to be able to protect that asset just in case if something happens, that child is protected.
Yeah, because it depends on your situation. Looking back now, I say everybody should have some sort of established document, which is the prenup, of what happens if things go bad in this marriage. Now, it depends on where you are in life. See, us, we came in babies. Like, we met each other, 20?
Yeah, like 20.
21, 22. We met each other really young. We both were in school. We were in church. We didn't know anything. I'm telling you, we knew nothing. In our first conversation, like, I remember that's what kind of locked me with her, is that because I was the new guy, came to the church maybe like 3 years prior to that, 2 or 3 years prior to that. I'm the new guy. She was away in college. She was pretty much raised and grew up in that church. And I remember like my homeboys put me like on the phone with her because I wanted to talk to her. And she was like, so on the phone talking, she was like, she really believes in us. We have to be friends first. We weren't even talking then. We were just kind of feeling each other out. And I remember she said these words to me that really caught my attention. She was like, listen, you ain't got nothing. I ain't got nothing. We're both coming into this relationship with a bag and a dream, a bag with hopes and dreams. We had nothing, you know what I mean? And she was like, you got nothing. I've got nothing. Let's build something, right? So there's a little difference there. There's a little difference. But a lot of you who are listening to this, who are watching this right now, you're already coming in with some investments. So it really depends on where you are in life.
I agree, yeah.
If you're in your late 20s, even if you're in your early 20s, and you got a lot, but I'm speaking to some people that I know. I'm speaking to my peers. You're in your 30s, late 20s, early to mid 30s, you already got a business going.
Right.
You already got a house. You already got investments. People doing Airbnb. People doing real estate.
Yeah.
People doing, my cameraman is a businessman right now. You're single and you're coming in with assets. You have certain things you got to protect. Now, it could get a little funny when you tell your girl or you tell your guy, hey, let's sign a prenup. It could get really weird. But it is a matter of respecting each other's boundaries.
Correct.
Right?
I think so, too. And I think it's a conversation worth having, because if you're afraid to have that conversation now prior to marriage, then like, you know, wait till you get into the marriage. You know, that conversation needs to be had.
It needs to be had.
Yeah.
So guys, prenups. Get the prenups. Get the prenups.
He's saying get the prenups. I think it should be a conversation worth having. And like he said, like it depends on what stage you're at and what you have. You know, if you're both coming in with nothing but just debt and you guys are going to build together,
you still might need some sort of like, if we get some money. I still think if we get somebody need to have a piece of paper somewhere saying, if we get some money, you can have this and I can have that.
Listen,
right?
if we're building together, I think it should be split because we're building together. So, but now I think it depends on, you know, the type of person you're marrying.
It's the type. I'm telling you, it's a matter of. It's
not
very
like
situational.
a matter of like then this, then that. Like it's just a conversation that needs to be had between the two couples.
Like for real, like I highly believe people need to be married to good people, yo. Like just like find someone you trust. Find someone who's for you. Someone you are for. Find somebody that you can trust your life with. Like I think that's like the number one insurance is to get with good people. Yeah. Find good people to get with. So if things don't end up like you wanted to, everybody respects each other.
Correct.
Like, you know, like for example, if I have a huge Airbnb empire, right? Now, when me and Bernadine, hypothetically speaking, when me and my wife got together, my Airbnb and business wasn't real yet, right? It was just a plan. So we got together, let's say 5 years down our marriage, my Airbnb business becomes a multi-million dollar business.
Right.
Some guys will all right, now God forbid a divorce happens. We're separated. We don't, for irreconcilable reasons. We don't know why, but we're gonna get divorced, right? Let's say this guy who has the multi-million dollar Airbnb business. Now he's getting divorced to this woman he's been with for 5 years. Now keep in mind, when they first met, Airbnb wasn't there. After they met 5 years down the line, it's a big business now, and they're getting divorced. There are guys that will tell the woman, you ain't helped me build this business. I built it.
Yeah.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, because I think
she was with you for 5 years, bro.
Right.
5 years. Now, am I saying she did the accounting? No. Am I saying she did the marketing and advertising? No. Am I saying she balanced the books? No. But she was with you. She supported you. She cooked you dinner, bro?
I think that's part. And
she
that's
cooked
what
you
people,
dinner. She took care of you.
Yeah. So in order for you to work on that business, she was doing other things that helped that business grow.
That's where it gets weird. Because there's guys that's like, no, I built this business, so that's where the fight's like, be respectful to each other. I think that's where, but get a prenup.
See,
I don't care what you say. Get the prenup. Listen,
the prenup.
Fellas, if you broke right now and you got big dreams, when you meet her, get the prenup.
Oh my goodness.
Sign the prenup, say, all right, listen, and be respectful, 50-50.
Yeah, and the prenup, you can include anything in the prenup, like whatever agreements that you guys have. Some of them can be like real petty.
Petty.
And, some of that. But the prenup, you can have it for a certain amount of years. And if you guys been married for, like, let's just say 10, 15 years, and you say, okay, well, we don't need the prenup anymore, so you can just tear it up.
Right.
And sometimes within prenup, too, they have, like, infidelity clause. That's
they got that stuff too?
Yeah.
Infidelity clause, meaning if
somebody steps out on a marriage, then you get nothing.
Ooh, it's spicy.
So you can put whatever you want.
I didn't know it was that spicy.
But I think if you are
spicy,
dating and you have some type of assets,
spicy.
or you're, I really do think it's a conversation that should be had prior, to the engagement. I did watch this, or I read an article. It was one NBA star. He has a podcast, I think, with Matt Barnes. And I think on his podcast, he talked about, his wedding. And so him and his fiance was about to get married. I think they had children together.
Yeah.
And so he, like, months before the wedding, he gave her a prenup to sign, and he was very adamant about this prenup. He told her she needs to sign it. I guess she was offended by it before, but he told her, like, hey, this wedding's not going to happen if you don't sign this prenup. Ooh. So she was like, okay, I'm going to sign it. I'm going to sign it. I'm going to sign it. So she kept on saying it. Like, to the day of the wedding, he asked her, hey, are you going to sign the prenup? And I guess a cousin of his or friends of his said, hey, I don't think she's going to sign this prenup. And he was, like, very upset. And he was like, listen, if you don't sign this prenup, we're not going to have this wedding. And lo and behold, the prenup wasn't signed and the wedding didn't happen. And this was the day of the wedding.
How y'all feel about that?
Like, and that's why I think it's very important to, you know, just have that conversation. And it just depends on.
So wait, the wedding, they actually had the wedding?
No,
like the wedding?
It was the day of the wedding.
The day of the wedding. So that means that I'm suited and booted and I'm headed to the wedding.
Yeah.
And then it didn't happen?
It didn't happen.
Ooh,
it didn't happen. It's
she
very
should.
sad, but you have to.
You got to stand your ground with that. You got to stand your ground.
He warned her about it, and he was very adamant about it, and I think she should have been respectful. But I mean, I don't know how their relationship was, but you know, that's why.
Because young love is different. Like young love is so innocent sometimes because you don't know where the person's going. You don't know, but when you already that guy or you're that girl, and you've already got quote unquote the world, and you're meeting people, you really don't know. So it's as insurance for the both of y'all. Get those papers signed. I mean, look what happened to Dre. Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre was with his wife forever. And that was the messiest divorce I've ever seen.
Yeah. Was there a prenup?
I don't know.
I think there was a prenup.
There was, but I think there was like, I'm not sure, man. You guys can correct us, but like, it was very messy. She was asking for a certain amount to the point he like, the guy, it put him in a hospital for a little bit because it was so stressful. Like,
I forget about it. I don't know if did they have a prenup? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if they did, but it was a lot of back and forth. She was asking for a certain amount. He was like, no.
Or maybe it was a prenup, and she was trying to. Well, I can't remember.
And this is like this is a long marriage. Like they were together for like
a long time.
Like 20? Should we say 20?
Yeah, they were together for a long time. I think in situations like that, like if she wants half, I think she should get half.
She should.
That's my opinion. The like, if you've been together for a long time.
Like all the brothers was talking about this, saying she don't deserve anything. But guys, like, yo, stop listening to Drake.
If you're taking care of the kids, you're taking care of the household.
She wasn't with me in the gym. That's what Drake said, right?
Like you're doing all the.
She wasn't with him in the gym. But that, come on, guys,
I believe that you're helping him get to where he needs to go.
If she pushed out your babies, she took care of the household. She made sure those kids were in school while you was out there hooping, rapping, whatever you're doing. She deserves something, right?
I think so.
Another messy one, Bill Gates. No, not Bill Gates. No, it was the other dude, Bezos, Amazon.
But there was no prenup.
She walked away. I think her divorce made her the most wealthiest woman.
Yeah,
I think
rightfully so. Like they didn't have a prenup. She was with him when he had nothing. He was in his house trying to build something.
He was in a garage.
Like that's when she was with him. So.
Listen, that was not messy though. Shout out to Bezos, man. Pray for you,
I think that was worth it. And I think in those situations, when you come into something, you had nothing, you guys helped build it together. Whether or not, if you're not on the phone
she didn't have to be like Drake. Sorry, Drake. She didn't have to be in the gym.
Not Drake.
No, Drake made a record. He was like, I think he was talking about, God rest his soul, Kobe, and then. He was like, she wasn't with me shooting in the gym. And it became like a tagline for the boys. He wasn't with me. Like, listen, man, she raised your kids. She raised your kids, bro. She raised your kids, so.
Like, be respectful. Because sometimes the women put their career on hold. You're raising,
they put a lot of careers on hold.
You're making sure the household is ran for you to do what you need to do. So, I don't know. So
we could do a whole episode on that.
I know about the prenup.
So, let's get to the controversial.
Just to say, like, okay. He's saying sign a prenup. I think
even if it's like a little paper like this, like y'all dating and you at McDonald's because you can't afford a real date. All right, so if I get rich with a marker and say, all right, let's put this in a vote.
Anyways,
that's legal document.
And the reason I talk about prenup too, because it has something to do with estate planning. Because I'm an estate planning.
That's what I was gonna ask. Where do you get a prenup? Where do you get it?
Well, with the prenup, you can consult with like family lawyers, attorneys. Who does family law? You can consult with them, or any type of attorney. Not any type. I'm not gonna say that. Scratch that. But family law attorneys to discuss, the prenup. So you can do that. But what I was saying as far as like estate planning, it goes along with it because when you do your estate planning with your spouse and God forbid, a spouse passes away, and it's a young couple and the other spouse, the living spouse wants to get married, I absolutely think it should be a clause within your estate planning that if you listen, if you want to get remarried, that's fine because I'm gone. But you need to get a prenup, okay? Like get a prenup before
right.
you get remarried again. I honestly believe that, like with this estate planning document, like, hey, we have kids together.
Right.
We built together for our kids, and if I go, what we built together for our kids, I want to make sure my kids go and not your new wife gets it.
So you don't want my new chick to get a part of the
She didn't work for it. She didn't work for it. So I absolutely think, a prenup, like before you get remarried, a prenup, or you cannot be the trustee over, my side of the estate.
So ladies,
or,
ladies, and just in
and
case.
And vice versa.
Ladies, just because she's talking to the guys. Ladies, just in case something happens, put it in that will, right? It's in a will?
A will or trust, whichever one.
A trust, will and trust. Put it in there. Let them know, listen, in case I'm not here no more, your new chick cannot have anything that we built. Can't have anything.
Do not retitle the deed of our home and put the new wife on it. No.
That can be done.
Sell the home, put my kids' fund in a separate, and then you and your new wife could go buy a new home.
Wow.
That's my take on it. Okay.
So
I don't know if you guys
like,
agree with me, but I strongly believe, what I built with my husband, I really want it for my children. I really don't want my children to get left out, because a lot of times when it comes to blended families, and sometimes it's not intentional, sometimes people, don't know, but, I honestly think like you protect that child, because that's what you worked hard for. We didn't work hard so we can bring our money into the grave. No, we worked hard for our legacy of our children.
It has to revolve.
Yeah.
It has to revolve.
So that's why I said about that. But yeah, so that was the first topic, which is prenup. It's just,
we got to do a whole nother episode.
Let
on
me
the
know
prenup.
what you guys think. Comment. Let us know what you think about this prenup thing. Like,
right. Also,
is it a yay or a nay?
Are you, as an estate planning attorney, are you able to? You can only do prenups for Floridians, or?
Yeah, because I'm only practiced to practice law in Florida, so I'm part of the Florida bar.
Okay, so hit her up if you want to get that. If this is hitting your heart and you're looking at your significant other, you're like, man, I need to do something about this. So hit up attorney Bernadine Philippe. What's your website again? www.familyinheritancelaww.com. Okay.
Yes.
So hit her up.
Like, oh my gosh.
Right. So hit her up. Hit her up on her DMs. Hit her up on Instagram.
Yeah.
Hit her up on Facebook. Hit her up on this show as well, so she can get that prenup going, fellas. Okay.